with me, Mark Goldman. I want to assure you that you've made an awesome decision to join us tonight on this webinar. I promise that the information shared with you today is going to be life-changing. And a little bit about me, Mark Goldman. You see, Tammy, I don't look so old, right?
No.
I've been doing business both on and offline since 1994 with zero formal training. I started when I was just a fresh babe out of college, okay? When the internet was in its infancy, with zero formal training, got into doing business. We founded, my wife and I co-founded and co-own a software and information marketing business that has brought in millions of dollars in sales from the comfort of our home. And we've used only joint ventures as our one primary marketing method to pull ourselves out of 6 figures worth of debt and help build a wildly successful business. And I've partnered with many of the biggest names in direct and internet marketing, including Jay Abraham, Brian Tracy, Agora Marketing, TJ Roletter, Ted Thomas, Sean Casey, Jeff Paul, and many, many more people. And I've been called the king of online joint ventures by many people. And I'm having some issues right now, folks. 1 second with the GoToWebinar. There we go. All right, I've created and participated in thousands of joint ventures as either a partner or a deal maker, resulting in tens of millions of dollars in sales over the years for dozens of different industries, including the luxury travel industry, wine companies. I've worked with internet marketers, software firms, accountants, and much, much more. As a matter of fact, I've actually also used joint ventures to passively generate hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on autopilot. That's without me lifting a finger in affiliate marketing, direct sales, network marketing, and high-ticket home business opportunities like Mode. And as a matter of fact, I've done this not once, not twice, not 3 times, but actually 4, and as of today, 5 times. But I wasn't always this successful. Our first few years in business, we barely got by. We've been struggling to make ends meet. We either operated at a loss or we barely broke even. My wife took jobs. I took jobs. We did whatever we could to get this business off the ground. As a matter of fact, I had to beg, scrape, and plead and go through thousands of no's before I got my first yes to a JV deal. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to role play a little bit and let you hear how my first joint venture attempt went. Okay, so imagine that I'm dialing a phone and I'm calling someone who has a really big reputation or just had a big success. Hello. Hello. Yes. Hello. Oh, yes. Hi. This is Mark Goldman, and you're a very big marketer who's had a lot of successes. Yes. I have a new product, and I was wondering if you wanted to promote. I'll spare you the rest. Trust me, it was painful, dismal, and the result was a big fat no. But the first time I got a yes, our first deal resulted in a whopping $170 in sales that had to be split 3 ways. So what are you going to learn on this webinar tonight? You're going to learn why joint ventures are still the absolute best and most highly leveraged way for anyone to earn a fortune, even if you've got 0 assets of your own. You're also going to learn why everyone else teaching joint ventures is dead wrong in their approach, and how if you follow what they teach, you're going to be in for dismal results at best. And you're going to learn how there's a huge opportunity for you to become the JV deal-making expert in your local community. And this is the best part. You get to be seen as the white knight on a horse riding in to save businesses. Most people don't like marketers, but when you become this JV deal-making expert, you get the sounds of heaven opening up and lights flashing on. Well, maybe not that, but you will definitely get seen as a great person riding in to save businesses. Now, who's this training for? Well, it's certainly for seasoned joint venture deal makers, also known as brokers. You might have heard people call people JV brokers, who are going to learn how to scale their existing deals up to huge profits and how to request even fatter commission payouts. It's also for newbies who may only have the smallest inkling of what JVs are even all about. And it's for people who've heard of JVs before. You've got limited expertise, limited experience, you don't know where to get started. You're going to get all the skills you need to get out there as soon as tomorrow and start working on deals. And by the way, when I say JV deal makers, this is deals that you could be putting together for yourself or for other people. Now, who is this training not for? Well, it's certainly not for scammers who want to go out and use this information to con businesses and provide no value to the end user. And it's certainly not for lazy people who think they should get paid for JV deals continuously and never contribute anything of value or fail to make themselves indispensable to their JV partners. And it's certainly not for anyone who wants to get rich quick without putting in the minimal time and efforts needed for JV deals to work. I know Matt preaches this all the time. You got to put in some time and effort, but oh my God, it's good. The rewards you get for what you put in are going to be amazing. So by the end of this webinar, I promise that you will know how to easily make money from joint ventures without all the hardships of creating your own products, having a website, or having your own list. So I hope everyone's excited. I would like everyone who's excited to say, yes, Mark, I'm excited, or hell yes, yes. Tammy, have them hit one.
Yes.
Tell me, are there people saying yes right now, Tammy? Because that's
Come on,
only way I'm
guys,
going to
let me
continue.
hear it. There's a ton of ones going in.
Okay, cool.
There's a hell yes even with exclamation points.
Oh, I love it. So let's get started.
All right.
Well, first, what is a joint venture? Well, joint venture, also known as a JV, it's a strategic partnership this happens when two or more business people come together to exploit their existing assets. And the goal of every joint venture is to create a profitable win-win situation for all parties. What do I mean by a win-win? A win-win means that every party in a joint venture benefits from the deal. And that means that everyone has the potential to make a ton of money, including the person who puts together the deal. And what do I mean by assets? Well, an asset is something a business person possesses that's valuable. And an example of a valuable asset is a product or service that's selling very well, or a list of existing customers that are likely to buy more things in the future. Now, here's a simple fictional example to illustrate a brilliant and simple win-win JV. Karen is the author of a top-selling book called How to Lose Weight and Get in the Best Shape of Your Life Using Pilates. Now, a disclaimer. I know that's a really great looking picture, but I am not a graphic artist. Please forgive me. I put stuff together. I think you'll like the content. Try not to worry about the pictures too much. So Karen has this great book called How to Lose Weight and Get in the Best Shape of Your Life Using Pilates. And Frank owns a number of very popular gyms that cater to women. Now, if Karen was to approach Frank and suggest that he sell her book in his gyms and they split the profits, that would be a great joint venture. So what's a JV deal maker? A JV deal maker is a middleman or a middlewoman who gets paid for hooking up deals between two or more businesses that may or may not have ever heard of each other. They arrange joint venture deals that produce profits for everybody involved, and they earn a commission just for handling the setup and management of the deal. So a JV deal maker is a third party in the joint venture deal between two others. Why are they necessary? Because most businesses have zero clue about how to market their business, let alone structure and set up a JV deal. Now imagine this for a second. What if Karen knew absolutely nothing about promoting her book, which is highly likely for most business people? All she knows about is her expertise, which is how to get results using Pilates. She would not even know who to approach to get her book out there, let alone how to approach them. So most likely, her great book would just stagnate and die and sit on the shelf due to her inability to market and reach potential partners. See, here's something that I'm about to share with you that I think is a critical thing for people to think about. A business is not necessarily about its business. Most business people suck at the business of marketing. They have no idea about anything except their business, their expertise. This is not just something that's unique to authors. But remember about Karen, all she knows is about her expertise and teaching others how to get results. And this is why a lot of businesses fail, because they fail to understand the most important principle of business, and that's this. A business is all about marketing. It's not about your business. It's not about the product you sell, the service you sell, the widget. It's not about that at all. It's all about marketing. Now here's the problem. What I just said has a problem, and that's that very few business owners can accept the fact that they should be in the business of marketing their stuff. Remember this, all Karen knows is about her expertise and teaching others how to get results. So in order to succeed, businesses need a white knight to ride in and save the day. And that white knight is someone who can see how to market their business, can see the deals, and can see the money they're leaving on the table. And that's where a JV deal maker comes in. A JV deal maker knows what it takes to make a business succeed, and that's marketing. They can see what the business owner can't see, and they can put together the deals that can save that business by marketing. And in return, they can get paid. A deal maker earns a percentage of whatever results they produce from their deal-making efforts. So here's the greatest part. Unlike being a real estate broker where you're locked into whatever the market rate is, which is usually a commission of 2 to 6%, a JV deal maker can command whatever price the business owner is willing to pay for results. Now think about that for a second. That means that as a JV deal maker, you can command 10%, 15%, 30%. I know some deal makers who command upwards of 70% from their results. Here's a huge opportunity for you. Because business owners suck at marketing, this has actually created a massive opportunity for you to become that white knight and command whatever share you like of the profits for structuring and managing, frankly, very simple JV deals to help business owners grow their business. Now, since you've been exposed to all the marketing training within MOB, starting with My Top Tier Business on up, you're already light years ahead of others in your marketing knowledge. So not only can you make some really great money arranging deals for businesses, you can actually promote, market, and highly scale your own MOB business by setting up JV deals with local businesses. Now here's the elephant in the room. Every single time I teach about JV deal making, I get similar questions and concerns from students who want to know two things, so I'm going to address them right now. They want to know, why would the business owner agree to give me a percentage of their profits when I didn't produce the product or service? And they also want to know, well, once I can convince them of that, how do I ensure I get paid? Now, these are both great questions. Why would someone pay you for this? Now, this is where you need to have what I call the 3 ABCs working for you. And the first one, the A, is the ability to demonstrate how you only get paid if and when the business owner gets paid. And you've got to have the balls to go out there and set up a deal. I'm sorry if that word offends anybody, but it's done strictly for, illustration purposes. But you do need to have them to go out there and set up a deal. And even more powerful is to come to somebody with a deal already in hand. We're going to talk about that. And you've got to have this confidence that you bring value to the table. That one is really important. They're all really important, but that confidence is really key. So let's break this down a little bit. For A, you've got to demonstrate how you only get paid if and when the business owner gets paid. So this is what's called pay for performance. And here's how I would approach something like this. You could walk up to a business owner and say, if I were to show you how to properly utilize marketing techniques that you're overlooking that can help you grow your business dramatically without any extra efforts on your part, would you be willing to share the newfound profits I make for you at a rate of 50 cents on the dollar? Can you imagine that? Nobody ever approaches businesses like this. They're always approaching them, expecting them to stroke a check or say yes and commit to long-term residuals, royalties, etc. You're saying, I will work very hard and I won't charge anything until we make money. It'll be from the direct result of the work I do for you. And you'll be just paying me for money that I created out of thin air. And if you come with a deal already in hand, that's the B. That's really powerful. Now imagine you're working with Karen, the Pilates book author. But first, before even going to Karen, you approach Frank, the gym owner, and you ask him, Frank, I may have the ability to lock down the exclusive rights to a book that I am positive the ladies in your gym would love to have, and that is going to make you look golden to them, and I'm quite certain we're going to sell a lot of them. It's going to add to your bottom line, no extra work on your part. And then after you get that agreement from Frank, then you can confidently approach Karen and say, Karen, I represent the owner of a number of gyms that cater to your perfect audience. He's looking for items that would appeal to his very loyal customer base. Now, I can put together a very lucrative deal for you to get your book into all the gyms that we control, along with a special endorsement from the gym owner. And in exchange for this, we'll market and sell the books, collect the payment, and send you your share every week, every month, etc., whatever works for you. Now, I'm sure you're anxious to get started, So where shall I send the agreement? Can you see the confidence in that approach? It's really critical, and this is something that is super, super important. But what if this isn't you? What if you don't have the confidence, or what I call the posture, or the capabilities? Now, I believe you do have it, but what if you don't believe that yet, or what if you don't have it yet? You can get a partner. You can actually get somebody who has all the negotiating skills, who has no fear, who can act on your behalf or with you and does the negotiating for you. Now that way you're actually creating a joint venture within your new business. You're partnering with someone else. And that person has an asset, and it's their ability, their confidence, their negotiation skills. And that comes direct from my good friend and the world's top marketing expert, Jay Abraham. Now the other question is how to ensure you get paid. Now, I'd like to believe that most people are good, they're honest, they're forthright, and they intend to do right by the people that they do business with. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. So I know from experience that getting screwed in a deal is the number one fear of people in business, and having trained thousands of people over the years on how to be a JV deal maker, it is the number one fear that I am asked about and confronted with every single time. Your best bet to avoid being screwed is to use a joint venture agreement. And this agreement is very simple. It outlines the terms of your deal, and it'll help your clients and you to understand what everybody's role is in the deal and how everyone is to get compensated, how long the deal is to go on, etc. Now, if you stick around to the end of this presentation, I'm going to tell you how you can get your own free copy of the JV agreement that I paid my attorney over $2,000 to produce for my use and to give to my clients for their use. So do you need special skills? Actually, I think all you need is the ability to spot opportunities that businesses are too focused on what they do best to even notice. You need to use what I call the JV sixth sense to spot opportunities to put together deals. Now, Tammy was in middle school at the time I started business, so she was probably, I guess, in high school by the time the movie The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis was out. I doubt she even remembers it, but maybe some of us on the call, if we can get through the fog of Alzheimer's, can remember what that movie was like. And in that movie was a young boy played by an actor called Haley Joel Osment, and his thing was he had this telepathic ability to hear and see dead people, and they called it the sixth sense, and he was able to know what their problems were and how to put them at ease. I come up with the JV sixth sense, and it's a skill or an intuition or the ability to spot opportunities for businesses, and it comes from experience and training, but it can be harnessed and honed so that every business you see, you start to get ideas of who to partner them with. As a matter of fact, as you start to harness and hone this skill, it'll become really annoying. You'll be just standing in line at the grocery and coming up with ideas of, wow, that could have been a JV deal. That could have been a JV deal. Every single person that checks out, I could see handing them a flyer and a 20% off coupon if they just take this to the oil shop down the road. Now, I want to show you an example of the sixth sense in action. A couple of years ago, I was approached by some very young entrepreneurs who were in the winemaking business, and the winemaking business can be pretty competitive. These guys came up with a really unique idea. Because it was so competitive, you have to come up with unique ideas to make it in the business, especially when you're young. So they wanted to approach cruise ships and golf courses and have them private label the wine that they were producing so it could look as if the chef or the golf course was the owner of a private reserve of wine made just for them, which made their guests feel ultra exclusive and help them sell more wine. Now, you could infer from that whatever you like, but yes, golf courses and high-end cruise ships, like the people who partake in those things, like to feel ultra exclusive. So the business was starting to do so well, the guys found that they needed to expand in order to get more farmland, to grow more grapes, and to get a new bottling and labeling facility to handle their growth, neither one of which is too cheap. So they both came from careers in the financial world that they had left to start this business. They absolutely hated banks and refused to take loans. Can I get an amen? So they came to me and they asked me to help them find the capital that they needed to grow their business. Now, normally, in any case like this, my approach would be to start marketing. But in this case, they actually needed to turn off the marketing spigot until they could get the facilities in place to handle the customer demand. So I had to think long and hard about how to handle this particular opportunity. I had to use my sixth sense to locate the capital for them that they needed to grow. I started to remember a client who'd made a ton of money from stock options as a Microsoft engineer. And I knew he loved wine because he had sent us a gift once. It was a lot of wine. And he asked me to let him know about anything lucrative that he could get involved in, since he was now semi-retired with a lot of money. Semi-retired, about 38, had all this great stock options from Microsoft. Now, I brought the two of them together. They met, they did the due diligence on each other, and my client ponied up the funds that they needed to expand the business, and in exchange, he became a part owner of the company. He got a share of the equity. Now, this is what I call a win-win-win. In exchange for about an hour worth of work on my part to put this deal together, I got a check for $12,000. And you see the word work is in quotes because really it wasn't that hard. And the wine company got the $300,000 that they needed to expand, and my client got to spend his money, which wasn't all his money. He made a boatload of it. He got to invest it in something he was passionate about, and he became part owner of an exciting, growing company in which he got to share in the profits. But they weren't the only winners. You see, the customers were able to continue to get more wine with their private label on it, and the end user was able to drink what was a pretty damn good wine. Now, this is what your sixth sense, finely honed, should do for you. It helps you sniff out and put together deals that make sure that everyone involved is able to reap the rewards. And that's much better than any other marketing transaction out there when there's guarantee that one person has the possibility of not feeling right about it. So does $12,000 for an hour of work get you excited? It gets me excited, so I hope I'm getting some yeses, some ones on there, and I hope that you want to hear some more exciting stories.
Yeah, come on, guys. Can I see a couple yeses? Do you want him to continue? Yes, he said, I'm excited. Barbara says, I'm excited. Yes, more yeses. Come on, let's go. All right.
Awesome. Great. So now I want to tell you about how Don used the sixth sense to put together an epic JV deal. My friend Don gave me a call one day. I have known Don for many years. And Don was representing an online educational company that paid its affiliates to refer students to take educational courses. In exchange, the affiliates get paid for the students who started taking the courses. Now, there was a downline structure in place several levels deep, so the potential to earn a lot of money for referrals was frankly pretty staggering. The company needed an email autoresponder system for their affiliates to use in their promotional efforts, and they wanted to actually give it to them free as part of the payment for joining the organization. Now it just so happens we run an autoresponder service. So Don asked me if I'd be willing to make some tiny changes to our software to make the affiliates' jobs easier. And here was my response to Don. I said, Don, I'll do this, but I got one condition. If the changes requested or can be applied to the majority of our customers, they would like them, they would be what I call universally appealing, we would absorb the costs. And if not, the costs would be covered by the other company. They agreed, and they also agreed to pay us for every single affiliate that they would put into our system. And the affiliates would then have an email prospecting system that was given to them by the company. So after a few weeks of work from our developers, the enhanced system was ready for the company. And within 1 week's time, they put over 2,400 of their affiliates into our system, and they paid me $50 per month per member. Now, that was a wholesale price that I worked out with them, but you do the math. With 2,400 times $50, that's a windfall profit of $120,000 a month that came into our business from this JV deal. And that's not where it stopped. The member base grew to a peak of over 4,000 affiliates before the deal started to decline. The company had moved on to some other ventures. But wow, 4,000 affiliates a month, and we were getting paid $50 for each of them. The company used this free automated email prospecting system to grow their new member acquisition and retention numbers dramatically, so much so that they ended up getting bought out. And Don got paid by the company, but he also got a hefty 10% commission from me just for setting up the deal. And the most important part is the affiliates got handed for free an easy-to-use, automated, replicated prospecting system that they could use to go out and build their businesses, which they did in droves. What this means is all they had to do was pay for advertising. They had an autoresponder sequence that was working for them. It was written by some top copywriters, and it helped to convert anybody that they pushed into that sequence, and they got it just for joining the organization. So does $120,000 a month sound good to you? And if you want to hear just one more, I need a couple more yeses. Can I get some yeses, Tammy?
Yes, come on, guys. I mean, this sounds incredible to me. So how about you? Let's hear some more yeses. All right, we've got a bunch of yeses, so let's keep going.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you another classic example of the sixth sense in action, and this is my good friend Jay Abraham at work. Now, a few years back, I had the pleasure of working with the legendary Jay Abraham, and we conducted a JV mentorship training program, the likes of which has never been seen again. Jay is what I call the king of JV deal making, and I thought I was good until the 6-month training program began. Jay gave so much gold during the first session that I think most of the students were left with their heads swimming with information. That was even the free session that we gave just to encourage people to join us. And many millionaires came out of that training. Of all the nuggets that Jay gave during the 6-month program, and there were thousands of them, I think my personal favorite was this classic. It's how Jay and his clients used Jay's sixth sense, Jay had a different name for it, but it's the same thing, to dominate his local community with a simple advertising campaign that went from zero to a multi-million-dollar business in a short space of time. Take a listen to this and tell me if you don't think you could go out and do this yourself as soon as tomorrow. I call this How to Make Millions from Windows. Jay and his friend walked around a downtown area at lunchtime. They saw a very busy intersection of 2 streets with shops on every corner. And several businesses had a prime location on the corner that ensured that everyone passed by it on their lunch hours. Jay realized the windows in this business were an underutilized asset. What do I mean by that? Well, the windows were just bare. There was nothing in them. They were just sitting there, maybe the neon light for the coffee shop or something, or the pharmacy was in there, but nothing else was really in the window. So Jay approached a different business 2 streets away that was suffering with not enough traffic. Around lunchtime, there might have been 2 or 3 people, 5 people trickling through there. And he asked them if they would be willing to pay him a piece of the profits if he could bring more traffic to them. And they agreed. They probably thought he was crazy and didn't know what he was talking about because there's 3 or 4 people. They had a terrible location. So Jay went out and approached the businesses with the prime location, and he asked them something. I see your windows are empty. There's absolutely nothing on them at all. If I was able to sell some simple advertising and put it up on your windows, and I paid you, say, 25, 35% a month for every ad I sold, would you be open to that? And with that approach, that very simple approach that all the business owners agreed to, they took over an entire downtown business district. They sold advertising space to businesses looking for traffic, and they had companies lined up like crazy to pay every single month for these prime spots. I want to stop for a second and have you think about this. This was a couple of years ago. So this wasn't a solo ad. This wasn't SEO. This wasn't anything that involved technical stuff. Jay is admittedly a technophobe. He needs someone else to turn on his computer for him. They went out there and went to Kinko's or some local printery and got them to print up some cardboard signs with the advertising on it. They put them in these prime locations in the window, and they advertised something about going to the other business down the road, a special coupon, a discount, whatever the case may be. That company paid for the advertising. They got foot traffic. They paid Jay for the advertising, and he gave 25 to 30% of it for the people who thought he was crazy that he wanted to hang something in their empty windows. But he didn't just stop there. He went on to duplicate and scale this proven venture in a number of neighboring towns and cities. As a matter of fact, he became known far and wide for doing this and controlling it. This got so huge that eventually a big advertising company heard about it, and they got interested in what they were doing, and they offered him 8 figures. That means millions plus 1, so like 10 million and up, to take over their window advertising business, which they, of course, happily accepted. Think about this for a second. They created money out of nothing. They didn't own the property where the advertising took place. All they did was see an underutilized asset and figure out how to negotiate a deal. So I hope you see the power of JV deals. Jay's story actually illustrates a couple of great points. It's pretty freaking simple to do JV deals. All you've got to do is keep your eyes open. The opportunities are everywhere. And it's all really about mindset, posturing, and confidence, what I call the ABCs of JVs. And you could take a business's underutilized assets and turn it into a massive windfall that no one, including the business owner, could even see. Okay, so I know you've been listening intently for the time we've been on here. You've been on your computer, your iPad, or your mobile device absorbing all the JV knowledge. And you know that if you were to start doing JV deals the Jay Abraham and Mark Goldman way, they would work for you. You probably also know that if just one of these ideas can make your head spin with deals that you can't wait to go out and do. Now imagine absorbing 12 hours of nonstop joint venture genius. Would you like to learn from the master? Look, the time I spent with Jay Abraham was the best time of my life from a marketing perspective. Jay Abraham is the world's most brilliant marketing mind. We worked for almost 3 years together, and it was the most valuable lessons about marketing that I ever learned. It changed me completely. I want to share that learning with you. What do you think could happen to you if you had Jay and I standing over your shoulder helping you, providing you with JV ideas and mindset, giving you all the tools in our mutual arsenals, and standing by to help you figure out how to take advantage of the endless opportunities that are around you that other people are just letting fall by the wayside? They call it leaving money on the table. I'm going to give you an unfair advantage. Very few people in life have ever gotten the opportunity to be mentored by a certified genius. I was lucky enough to get the chance to work with Jay, and we literally changed the lives of thousands of people. Many millionaires came out of that training. But now it's your turn. I want to tell you about JV Mastery. Tammy mentioned it a bit at the top of the hour. JV Mastery is the culmination of a year of exacting planning and incredible hard work between myself and Jay's partner, Rick Duras, to extract all of Jay's genius into one format where you'll have me pulling out every nugget of genius from Jay's brain. He's brilliant. And when I say brilliant, I mean he is not the easiest person to understand. But I sat there with him for 6 months. I crawled inside his brain, and I really helped our students get easy access to all of his joint venture knowledge, and believe me, it's extensive. JV Mastery was a 6-month training program that we packaged and sold in a physical format of 9 CDs, and it contains hundreds of pages of transcripts. We've now taken it and turned it into a digital masterpiece in a membership area where you can get instant access to 6 months of calls, all of them with Jay and I dissecting the JV deals, talking about all the opportunities. Jay basically lays out all of these ideas on a silver platter for you to step into or apply to your own existing business. He gives you the mindset. He teaches you about the posture. We have case studies of exactly what he did, hot seats where Jay broke down what another person's business was all about, and literally on the calls themselves, which only took 2 hours each, he gave them a multi-million-dollar business. So much more. You could stream and download the audios and listen to them in your car, on your iPod as you jog, or put them on your phone. Now, Tammy talked about, how she was in middle school. Tammy, do you remember CDs?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, now it's all digitized. I'm joking because that's just the way I am. So forgive me, but the CDs, they're gone. It's all digitized now, so you can take them with you wherever you go. You're also going to get PDF transcripts of all the calls. You can print these out, open them in a PDF reader, follow along with the audios, highlight, and dog ear to your heart's content. You're also going to get, and this is crazy, 8 JV proposal letters written by Jay himself. We sat there with Jay, and we told him, Jay, would you be willing to, for this program, do stuff that's over the top? And this is just the kind of guy that he is. He's crazy like this. He said, sure, I'll do this. And he sat there and wrote them by hand literally a couple of hours before the first call. And these are letters that you can use to sniff out, prospect, and close any JV deals for yourself or for other businesses that you're putting together. Use them however you like and use them over and over again. You're also going to get the Strategy of Preeminence report from Jay Abraham. This is an amazing report where Jay pretty much breaks down the mindset and tells you how to have the confidence that you need to exude to get these deals done. And you're also going to get the JV Deal Making Jumpstart Special Report that you can use to get started making deals as soon as tomorrow. We wrote this before the program started, and people really started using it to make deals before the program was even in place. You're also going to get transcripts of what Jay called the sequential marketing session. He put that program on back in 2002, and people paid $5,000 to attend that event. And Jay's belief is that sequential marketing and joint ventures or strategic alliances go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other, or they can't be as effective, so you're going to get all of that as well. Plus, you also get the complete series of emails that Jay used to sell people into his famous $15,000 person seminars. Now, you're in MOB, you're selling a high-ticket item. Matt is basically giving you the opportunity to make really large commissions by promoting stuff. Do you think that if you had access to these emails, that you would be able to use them to craft amazing, persuasive, and compelling emails that you could use to drive people to build your own MOB business or anything else that you've got? You're also going to get my powerhouse online JV system. This is a system I developed that helps you identify, approach, and most importantly, close online JV deals, and then we've made it literally as easy as slicing a piece of cake. And you're also going to get my easy-to-follow, paint-by-numbers, 10-step JV Dealmaker system that helps you set up, structure, manage, and profit from deals that you set up for any business, whether it be local or web-based. So you see, you've got Jay, who likes to call himself nonlinear. He's a brilliant guy. He's got all these ideas. And myself, I'm rather linear. I like to put things together in a structured format that people can pick up, follow, and you've got it all here. And you're also going to get an exclusive JV critique certificate worth almost $700, which you can redeem from me to personally evaluate one of your own JV ideas. You get 30 minutes of my time. I charge $1,397 an hour for consulting on JVs. What we'll do is we'll sit you down, brainstorm, and tweak your deal, and we'll make sure that when you're done, your deal is absolutely oozing with money-making potential. So what does JV Mastery cost? Well, the folks who attended the live sessions paid over $2,400, and that was a steal to get live access to Jay Abraham for 6 months, because folks pay $10,000 to $25,000 a person to see Jay live in his other programs. As a matter of fact, there was one program that Jay sold that was $250,000. I know it's insane and it's obscene, but people did it and they raked in the cash from that. But we later sold this program for many years with prices ranging from about $700 to $997. And then eventually we removed the product from the market. So there was absolutely no chance to even get this product. Today, the digital version of JV Mastery costs just $497. Now, I think this is an extremely fair price considering the incredible content that you cannot get anywhere else and everything that the product contains. This is literally your ticket to the life of your dreams. And I know you'll find this product to be very affordable. But that's because my goal, and Jay's too, is to get joint ventures into the hands of people who are going to do something with them, to help yourself and the people you partner with to build a great life. There's too many great businesses out there that are suffering because they suck at marketing, and they need you. Literally, I'm not saying this as a joke. People need you to be the white knight to ride in and save them. And you need this for your own business to go out there and grow MOB and literally anything else that you have under your umbrella. And of course, you're protected by the rock-solid 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't find JV Mastery to be everything I said it was and more, just contact the MOB team and we give you your money back. It's as simple as that. But I'm going to do something even crazier for the people that are on this event who want to move really fast. If you're willing to move fast and show me that you're an action taker, I'm going to load you up with bonuses that are not available anywhere else. My partner's on this call, and he doesn't even know that we're going to do this, so he may be a little shocked when he sees this. I'm going to give you special bonus number one if you order within 1 hour. Without a doubt, the worst thing that you can do is go into a JV deal without an agreement ready to go. It's a recipe for disaster. So if you order within 1 hour of this webinar, I'm going to throw in my JV deal-making agreement that I paid my attorney over $2,000 to create. Number two, I'm going to double the time of your JV critique consultant. That means you're going to get 1 full hour of my time to work with you, to tweak any deal that you want. Even come to me with multiple deals. Whatever you've got the hour of the time. It's your time. We could talk about anything, even the NBA if you want, but you'd be wasting time when we could just cover joint ventures and really start making you a ton of money. We're going to spend that hour coming up with pitches, helping you get connected to all the right people, and putting all the chessboard pieces together to help you close some major deals. The third bonus that we want to give you is to join our newly formed Secret JV Mastery Facebook group. You're going to get direct access to my team, my partner, myself. I'm on there all the time, our other customers, and even to each other, which I find a lot of times joint ventures come out from my best joint ventures happen with my clients and customers anyway. So you're going to be able to brainstorm, network, make deals, and get even more JV help. So with the JV Mastery Facebook group, you're never going to be out in the cold. You're never going to be alone. You're always going to have someone that you can turn to who can help your JV deals going. Now there's one more bonus, special bonus number 4, if you order within an hour. If you want to use local JVs to grow your MOB business, I'm going to be putting on a special webinar for the fast movers only on this call that is going to give you at least 5 ways to grow your MOB business. You'll be able to submit your MOB JV related questions. I'll answer them on the webinar. We'll chat for as long as you like, and we'll literally go crazy building out your MOB business using what I like to call the most powerful marketing method on earth. I've got tons of ideas for how to build your MOB business that I don't think you'll have ever thought about before. You'll certainly never hear them from anyone else. There's even more bonuses. It's pretty amazing. There's some surprise stuff in the membership site. We've put full digital versions of our entire JV product line, stuff that we've sold for years, pitches and emails that you can use to start setting up deals tomorrow, interviews with other JV experts, interviews with myself, me being interviewed, me interviewing, my partner Scott interviewing other people. It's pretty amazing. And there's a lot in there, too much to even talk about on here. But literally, you will be set with all the things that you could ever need to do joint ventures. So to get started now, Tammy, I'm going to ask you to put that link in the chat box. You can head over to mob.com/JV right now and take advantage of this amazing offer of JV Mastery for $497. Now the product is going to be in the MOB marketplace, but the bonuses I cannot guarantee will. As a matter of fact, the 4 that I'm saying are for within an hour of you hearing this webinar. I'm going to stick to that. So you got to order now. And keep this in mind from one of our attendees. This person said, I learned more in 2 hours of JV Mastery than I did in 2 years of grad school. That's pretty powerful stuff. But even more powerful is what Andy Fuel said. My first 2 joint ventures will yield me approximately $500,000 this year in profit personally. So don't let this pass you by. Head over to mob.com/JV right now, and we could take a few minutes for Q&A, but first I want to thank you for listening. I am truly passionate about joint ventures. I hope that came through tonight. I've used this to build my business. I've used this to get myself out of debt. I know it can work for any business that's out there. I know it can work for you, and I know there's an incredible need for deal makers, whether you want to use joint ventures for yourself, for other businesses. It's a skill that no one can ever take away from you. It's an amazing skill that goes back thousands and thousands of years, and I want you to be a part of this. So head over to mob.com/JV right now. And Tammy, are there questions that people have been submitting, or that you want to give them some time to submit some? I'm happy to take some.
All right. Yeah, does anybody have any questions? Please go ahead and put them up in our question box now. I'm not seeing too much right now. I'm sure some people have a couple questions, so.
Yeah, we'll hang around for a bit. Tammy, do you have any questions today? Is there anything that I didn't cover that you would like me to take a few minutes to talk about, or questions you have?
No, I think you covered everything. It sounds amazing to me. I mean, in my head, I'm just thinking of quite a few of my small business owner friends who have a lot of underutilized assets that I could really hook them up with other friends and help them out just there. And I would have never thought to do that until you started putting those ideas in my head right now. So
I think we have activated your JV sixth sense then.
I think so. I think we have. I'll have to go back and watch the movie now.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. It's been great listening to you. I hope everybody has really tapped into the value of what your program has to offer and all these bonuses. Please, everybody, go ahead and act quickly to get those, because that's a lot of material that you'll miss out on if you wait just a little too long. Um, so I don't see any questions. Does anybody have any questions? No? I do say, will this presentation be available for download? I'm recording it, so yep, I know that Matt Boland and team, I'll give this recording over to them, and they'll probably be emailing it out and putting it up. So that answer is yes, that we will have this available. Let's see, another question I have here is, what is your greatest challenge you encountered in this business?
Oh, wow. That's a thought-provoking and excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would probably say that the greatest challenge that I ever encountered was in the beginning. I talked about picking up the phone for the first time and calling that person. Um, Once I did that, it was literally a snowball effect where I just started to get more and more confidence that grew with every moment. Every no, I saw it as a challenge. Even when we got our first yes and it didn't produce the results that we want, it started to really become a ritual for me. And I think that anything good in life, any good business becomes that, where you start to figure out what you did wrong, perfect it, get it right, learn your presentation, and just get your confidence going. So once you get your confidence going, it really began to snowball from there. And if you've got a few minutes and you want to listen to me, I'll tell you. I literally banged on the door. We had our software company. It was fledgling. We were literally maxing out credit cards and borrowing money from family members, et cetera, to grow this business, and nobody believed in us. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, and you probably hear the same thing from your peers, family member, et cetera, job mates, et cetera. And you want so bad to prove them wrong. But that might even be the wrong approach to it. I think you've got to want to see this succeed for you, for your family, to help make your dreams come true. Because once I started to get yeses, it just became so much easier. And another thing that I realized that I don't talk about here, but we talk about it inside the program a lot, is something called NEAR. I figured out a system, and I teach it in a product that you'll get access to within there, where you literally start to find out that you can make deals with people who are cold businesses, I call them, or cold leads, you might think of them as, and they'll work, but it's much easier to get yeses from people that know you already, that you do business with. I'll give you an example. I was getting all these no's, 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 and I picked up the phone and started to call people that I was spending money with, a hosting company I was paying a couple $100s a month to at the time. God, I miss those days, because now the bill is like a few thousand a month. But yeah, it was a couple $100s a month, and I called up and I got to speak to the owner. And they didn't do a deal with me because hosting companies are notorious for not understanding joint ventures and not understanding they leave their money on the table all the time and totally underutilize their assets. But he was more than willing to listen to me. We spoke for hours and hours on the phone. I spent a lot of time educating him on this process, and that alone gave me a lot of confidence. And then I was able to say, well, who else do I spend money with or makes money from me that I might be able to get to listen to me on the phone? Because when you have that captive audience, so much easier to get them listening to you and to close a deal with them.
All right, I've got quite a few more questions now for you, Mark.
All right, I
Um,
figured if I talked a little bit, it might get some more. Sure.
all right. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I have someone asking, can you list the 4 bonuses again, please?
Okay, we can certainly do that. There's actually a lot more than four, but these are the special ones that you will get for ordering within an hour.
Yeah.
You get my JV deal making agreement that I paid my attorney over $2,000 to create. You can use it. It's yours at that point. You can use it for as much as you like. I wouldn't really change it that much because it was crafted by an attorney, unless you're an attorney or you have one, by all means. And actually, if you do and you want to tweak it for yourself, having a template becomes a lot more affordable then to go to your own attorney and get them to craft something for you when you're giving them something and say, just tweak this a little bit. And the second one, I double your JV critique consulting time. That means you get a full hour of my time to work with you. We'll tweak any deal that you want. We'll spend that hour coming up with pitches and helping you get connected to all the right people and putting all the pieces together to help you close some deals. It's your hour. We work one-on-one together, you and me on the phone or on Skype, whatever's more convenient. You'll be able to join our newly formed Secret JV Mastery Facebook group, and that's where you're going to get direct access to me, my partner Scott, other members of our team, other customers, and to each other to brainstorm, network, make deals, and get even more JV help. This isn't the only place where we're going to promote this product or opportunity, so we are literally going to grow that JV Mastery Facebook group. My goal is to really grow it dramatically over the next few months, so it's going to become an excellent place to attract and find other partners and people that you won't have to educate on joint ventures because they're already educated. And you'll never be out in the cold. You'll always have someone who you could turn to help you. And the fourth bonus was the special webinar. Now this one I'm only going to do for the people on this MOBE webinar, the people who are listening to this right now. I put on a special webinar where we can give you at least 5 ways to grow your MOBE business. And this is something, don't worry if other people are going to be on the call and hearing it, because I don't care where in the world you are. And that's another important thing about joint ventures in general. These work all over the world. I've had people try to tell me no, and I've done them all over the world. Okay, I actually live in Trinidad and Tobago. I do joint ventures here. I see joint ventures happen here all the time. They're happening in your country, in your locale, wherever you are. So I'm going to give you 5 ways to grow your MOBE business no matter where in the world you are. You can use these, and you're also going to be able to submit JV related questions about MOBE to me, and I'll answer them on the webinar. I'm not an expert in MOBE, but I am, growing in it. I have been involved in many, many, many different home business opportunities over the years, and I can tell you ideas that come to me for how you can grow this. My partner Scott is also somebody who's been actively involved in MOBE for a long time, and I'll ask him to help us. He's actually a great copywriter, and he'll help us prepare the webinar and give you some great ideas. So that's the 4 bonuses that are going to happen. You also get all the surprise bonuses, digital versions of our JV product line, pitches and emails you can use to start setting up deals tomorrow. One of the things that people are most afraid of is writing. Done it all for you. Interviews with myself and other JV experts, either them interviewing me interviewing them. The insights that you could pick up from that are invaluable, and everything that you'd ever need to do joint ventures. Those are just my bonuses plus the surprise bonuses. There were actually there's thousands of dollars worth of stuff that Jay's gifted that is going to be available to you in there.
All right. I've got another question here. What kind of background works best for being a newbie in this JV deal broker work? And what essential skill sets and personality traits are likely to be helpful for utilizing the Sixth Sense successfully in this capacity?
Okay. Well, first, like I said, this is pretty simple. Don't worry and don't overcomplicate it too much. I do certainly think that people who have that natural ability and confidence and have no problem speaking, I'm not saying necessarily speaking in public or speaking on a stage, because that's an entirely different type of speaking, but you should be able to relate to people, to network with them, to approach them and talk to them. That's certainly helpful. But remember, what I said is, if that's not your forte, you can go out and find someone whose forte it is. Maybe there's that person down the road that never shuts up, that person you grew up with who has an innate and uncanny ability to control a room at a party. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your spouse. Whatever the case is, you certainly would need that ability to go out and just present this to others. Then for utilizing the JV Sixth Sense, it really comes, like I said, from just learning some of these techniques and going out there and listening to these things. Jay covers all this in depth in the program. The ABCs and the Sixth Sense are my terminology, but everyone who knows joint ventures, strategic alliances, and partnerships teaches a similar kind of thing, and that's that confidence, posture, and mindset are super important. You've just got to be confident in yourself and in your abilities and in this technique. It works all the time. And I got to tell you something. A lot of times I think people worry too much about business and they overcomplicate things. You don't need to do that. What you're being exposed to, less than 0.1% of the world knows this, has even heard of a joint venture. Maybe they've driven by a construction site and see the words, a joint venture between such company and other company, okay? But they don't even know what a joint venture is, nor do they know that somebody can do it in a local community, small business that you're out there looking at. The most you might have to do is be willing to educate people on a few of these terms. And the other thing is you've got to be able to just present this concept of paying for performance. So if people are scared, the idea they've probably invested in other things that they've been ripped off, and a lot of people don't understand advertising, they don't understand marketing, and they don't trust marketers. With this position, you're not a marketer per se. You are a marketer, but you don't approach them as someone trying to reach into their pockets. You say to them, I don't make any money until you make money and unless you make money. And that alone is such a powerful, disarming point that it changes the dynamic of the relationship. You're not somebody trying to reach into their pocket. You're somebody saying, if I can create a windfall, even if it's $1, would you give me 50 cents of that dollar? Because you wouldn't have had it on your own. But what if it's $1,000? What if it's $1,000,000? What if it's $10 million? Okay, you don't have to stretch it too much the way you get people thinking too or overthinking it. But really, if you could bring in profits to a business that's hurting or even a business that's succeeding, you become that white knight, and that's a very important position. So it's really, to answer your question, confidence, mindset, and just believing in yourself.
All right, that's great. Let's see, another one is, how long did it take you to bring your business to success?
Our first, I'll have to ask my accountant for this to be exact, but our first 2 years in business, we broke even. Okay, so that means we ended up. Actually, I think our first year we had a loss. We got a tax return, right? But our second year we broke even, and then after that we started to climb and have to pay the tax man every year. So it took us about a year or two to really see profits, but that was a lot of that has to do with not using joint ventures, to be quite honest with you. We were trying lots of other marketing techniques, so-called free marketing techniques. At that time, it was a lot easier to profit online, but we really weren't struggling per se, like to where I wanted to throw everything out the window. We knew that all we needed was the right techniques and something to master, and joint ventures were it. So once we got it, the money started to roll in, the profits were there. The business was always able to make money. We were always pretty good at marketing, and we knew what people wanted to buy. Where we fell down was in the marketing techniques. Once we discovered joint ventures, we never looked back.
Okay, let's see. I'm getting a lot of questions just about will this type of will JV marketing work in other places besides the United States? I've had three questions on this.
Absolutely. As
And
I said, I live in the Caribbean in a little tiny country called Trinidad and Tobago. There's 1.2 million people here. I watch joint ventures take place every day. I'll give you an example. I go down to the fish market to buy fish, okay, and there is someone hustling to bring me over to the table of the guys who are cutting fish. And there's like 20 different fishermen. They've all been out, they all worked very hard, and they're all got amazing product, but it's who can get me to the table for my money. And there's young guys out there hustling to do it, and they use a variety of different tactics and techniques. And then at the end, when after I pay my money, you'll watch them getting their cut. That's a joint venture right there. Can joint ventures happen in your country? Absolutely. I've done joint ventures in every part of the world. I've actually had a joint venture in Japan where I was flown to Japan. My wife and I were flown to Japan. We filmed an infomercial there, and we literally received royalties for 3 years for a product that we created in Japan. I actually had somebody write to me and tell me this couldn't work in Japan. It was absolutely against the culture. And I had to laugh because I've already done it. So it could work anywhere in the world.
Awesome. I have another person asking, what is the main industry using joint ventures, would you say?
Well, there's a lot of joint ventures that go on in real estate investment. There's a lot of joint ventures that go on in land deals, so more real estate again. But if joint ventures aren't being utilized openly in an industry, that's because once again the businesses don't know about them. There's a lot of complicated legal uh, connotations to joint ventures that people think about, and they think about a bunch of lawyers in a boardroom. When companies merge together, that could be a joint venture. But really, this can work in any industry, so you don't have to. I would actually avoid the industries when you're starting out that are the most where joint ventures are the most known. But I'll give you an example if you want one from the real estate industry, real estate investing. A lot of times people talk about no money down buying of real estate. How does that happen? Well, 9 times out of 10, you get an investor to put up the money for you. That's called other people's money. So there's something I teach called the 4 pillars of joint venture marketing, and that's where you leverage either other people's credibility, other people's expertise, other people's time, or other people's money to get a joint venture deal going. So in real estate investing, a lot of times you get somebody else to put up the money and you never have to put up any, and then you go out there and buy distressed properties, build them up, flip them, and you keep the excess while paying back the person. In internet marketing, information marketing, joint ventures are abused and talked about, and there's a lot of people out there that claim to be teaching JVs. What they're really teaching is what's called endorsement marketing, which is where you say to somebody, hey, I have an info product, I have a launch coming up, will you be my affiliate and endorse this product to your list? And it used to be a lot more meaningful, and now it's just been kind of beaten to death. So it's being used a lot in that, but it's probably being used incorrectly. There's actually something interesting in more internet marketing, which is where companies partner together, or people who have certain skill sets join up. Like, for instance, my partner Scott, he's an excellent writer and probably one of the most organized people I know besides my wife Terry, and he keeps us on track. And there's a friend of mine that I've had for 30 plus years who we actually just rekindled our friendship thanks to Facebook. I say just, it was a few months ago. We haven't spoken to each other in years, but we rekindled the relationship. We found out that there was a great synergy between us from a business standpoint when we used to just run around and create mischief and havoc as kids in middle school and high school. And that's, but we have a business connection and synergy. So we've put ourselves together. He's an awesome salesperson. I've got this incredible wealth of marketing knowledge. And Scott, my partner, he's also got an incredible wealth of marketing knowledge, and he's a great writer and organizational, detail-oriented person. The three have formed a company together, and we'll share all the profits that come out of it. So that's the kind of JVs that I want you to start thinking about. They're a lot more than just to approach somebody and ask them to promote your product. That's passe. It'll work, but it's, to me, it's boring, and that's what most people still teach about joint ventures.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much, Mark. I think that that probably concludes most of the questions in here. I see there's a couple more on payment installments, but we're just going to do the one-time payment. If you go to that link that I put in the chat box and that Mark was talking about, the MOB dash, what was it?
MOB.com/JV.
Yeah, mob.com/JV. You'll find all the information that you need on that right there. So and And we will get this webinar out for everyone so that they can replay it when they need it. And thank you again so much, Mark, for coming on tonight. Any last parting words before we part ways?
It's my pleasure to be on, Tammy. Thank you. And
All right.
yeah, if I could say one thing to everybody on the call, it's that you can do this. I have confidence in you. I started with nothing. I started without any knowledge, and I really just took this. You have an incredible advantage because you have my 20 years of experience, many years. I think Jay's been at this 30 or 40 years, that you could tap into that other people didn't have. So, you know, I understand that it seems like a decent chunk of change, and I could certainly understand that. But I'll tell you that you'll be able to turn this around and make many multiples of that many times over. It's a skill that will be invaluable to you for the rest of your life.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mark. I couldn't agree more with you. So thanks again for tonight, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And please do go to the link that we discussed, mob.com-jv, and look into Mark. I mean, he's here. He's going to look over your shoulder, be on your call. He's going to be in your Facebook group. He's going to help you with these joint ventures and make this a reality for you. And so that's wonderful. So thank you so much, Mark, and everyone, and have a wonderful night.
Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.